Hello everyone, welcome back to Law with Aisha. In the previous video, we understood the meaning of bailment, its parties, types, and essential under Section 148 of the Indian Contract Act 1872. Now it's time to understand one of the most important topics in bailment, the duties of the bailor and the duties of the bailee. Don't worry, I won't just read the section. I will explain each one with simple real-life illustration so that you can remember them easily for your exam. So let's get started. Imagine you give your laptop to a repair shop. If it gets damaged, who will be responsible? The bailor or the bailee? Let's find out. So the first, bailor's duties. The first was duty to deliver good into possession. The first duty of the bailor is to deliver the goods to the bailee and transfer lawful possession. Like illustration, just A gave his watch to B for repair. Until A actually hand over the watch, the contract of bailment does not begin. Second, duty to disclose fault. It is mentioned under Section 150 of Indian Contract Act 1872. Now let's move to Section 150. So it says about the bailor must disclose all material defect in the good that may expose the bailee to risk. Illustration like A gave his bike to B. A already knows that the brakes are defective but does not inform B. While riding the bikes, B meets with an accident. The result was under Section 150, A is liable because he failed to disclose the defect. Duty to repay necessary expenses. This is mentioned under Section 158. According to this section, in a gratuitous bailment, the bailor must repay all necessary expenses incurred by the bailee. Illustration like A leaves his pet dog with B free of cost. The dog falls sick and B spends money on its treatment. The result was A must reimburse the necessary expenses. The next was responsibility for defective title. This is mentioned under 164 and 166. According to Section 164 and 166, if the bailor has no right to deliver the goods and the bailee suffer a loss, the bailor must compensate the bailee. Like A gave a camera to B. Later, the real owner claimed the camera and B suffer a loss. A is liable to compensate B. Duty to receive back goods. This is mentioned under Section 167. Under Section 167, after the purpose of bailment is completed, the bailor must take back the goods. Like A leaves his suitcase with B for 1 week. Even after 1 week, A refuses to collect it. If B suffer any loss because of the delay, A must compensate B. Then we learn duties of the bailee. Duty of reasonable care. This is mentioned under Section 151. Now let's discuss. The bailee must take as much care of the goods as an ordinary prudent person would take of his own goods. You leave your phone at a repair center. The technician keeps it safely in a locked cupboard. The result, this is reasonable care. A keeps jewelry in a bank locker. Despite proper security, a natural disaster damages the locker. So here the bank is not liable because the bank was taken the reasonable care. Then no unauthorized use is mentioned under Section 154. Like the bailee must use the goods only for the agreed purpose. If A gives his car to B for servicing, instead of this work, B goes on a road trip. Then if the accident was happened, then B is liable, and also B is liable for any damages caused due to unauthorized use. So the next was section 155, 156 and 157 is talk about the mixing of goods. So here 155 is mixing with the Bailor consent. If the Bailee mixes the Bailor goods with his own goods with the Bailor consent, then both parties are liable. Like A allow B to mix 50 kg of wheat with B's own wheat. Since A agreed, both will share the mixed wheat according to their respective share. The 156 is talk about mixing without consent. If the good can be separated, then the cost of separation of the damaged good will be bear by the Bailee. Like illustration, B mix A's white rice with another person white rice without permission. Since both can be separated, B must pay the separation expenses. Then mixing without consent, good cannot be separated. It is mentioned under 157. According to this section, if B mixes A's milk with another person's milk without permission, since the milk cannot be separated, B must compensate A for the damaged product. Then duty to return good is mentioned under section 160. So here the purpose of the bailment is completed or the agreed time expired. The bailee must return the goods to the bailor. Like A gives his laptop to B for repair. After repairing it, B must return the laptop to A. Then 161 talk about responsibility for delay. So if the bailee delay returning the goods, he is responsible for any loss or damage caused because of the delay. Then return of increase or profit. It is mentioned under 163 of ICA 1872. The bailee must return not only the good but also any increase or profit earned from those goods. Like A gave his cow to B for safekeeping. During that period, the cow gave birth to a calf. B must return both the cow and the calf to A. Then delivery to joint bailors. It is mentioned under section 165 of ICA 1872. According to section 165, the bailee may return the goods to any one of them unless there is an agreement to the contrary. Means if the contract is made between 2 or 3 bailors with one bailee, then the bailee return the goods any one of them, and unless and until there is an agreement to the contrary. So here, like an illustration type, A and B jointly give a machine to C for repair. After the repair is completed, C may return the machine to either A or B unless their agreement say otherwise. Then third party claim is mentioned under section 167. So if a third person claim ownership of the goods, the bailee may apply to the court for direction. Like while B is keeping A's painting, another person claims that it belongs to him. B can approach the court to decide who was the true owner of the painting. Then 168 mention finder of lost goods. According to section 168, a finder of the lost good has the same right and duties as the bailee. Like Rahul find a pocket in a park. Until he find the real owner, he must take reasonable care of the pocket. Then finder's right to sell. It is mentioned under section 169. A finder may sell the good in certain situations, such as when the goods are perishable, the lawful charges amount to 2/3 of the value, or a promised reward is not paid. Like Rahul find a basket of ripe mangoes. Even after making reasonable effort, he cannot trace the owner. Since the mangoes are perishable, he may sell them under Section 169. So, yeah, the duty of the Bailey are so lengthy. So, these were the basic thing that you must learn. So, in the next video, we will discuss the right of the Bailor and the right of the Bailee with simple tricks and real life illustration. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Law with Aisha. Thank you for watching.